It is Friday, November the 7th, 2025. I'm Heath Lambert, and the biggest story of the week is socialism in New York City.
34-year-old self-described Democratic Socialist Zohran Mamdani is now New York City's youngest mayor in more than a century.
Mamdani won the Democratic primary, promising free public transit, free daycare, more rent-subsidized housing.
New York, tonight you have delivered a mandate for change. A mandate for a new kind of politics. A mandate for a city we can afford. And a mandate for a government that delivers exactly that.
Tuesday, November the 4th, 2025, was Election Day in several states across the United States, and it was a good day for Democrats. In Virginia, Democrat Abigail Spanberger was elected governor over Republican Winsome Earl Sears. In New Jersey, Democrat Mikey Sherrill was elected governor over Republican Jack Ciattarelli. In New York City, Zohran Mamdani, a self-described socialist, was elected mayor of the nation's largest city. In spite of lots of media hype, there is not a lot of big news in these stories. The party in power in the White House typically does poorly in off-year elections. The wins for Democrats happened in places where Republicans always struggle. And the winner of each of these elections was the frontrunner in the campaign for a long time. Even though Republicans had hoped for a few upsets, and the media always has an interest in making things seem closer than they are, there were absolutely no surprises on election night. The biggest news of the night is the election of Mamdani, a socialist, to the office of mayor of New York City. Even though Mamdani's win has been expected for some time now, and even though New York City has a reputation for electing leaders far too liberal to be accepted in other parts of the country, Mamdani's liberalism is surprising. Indeed, Mamdani has many problems that kept most national leaders in the Democratic Party from endorsing him. Even though the realities of governing are likely to make it challenging for Mamdani to enact his vision, an open socialist rising to such high office is an alarming development in American national politics. It requires an examination of socialism on the biggest story of the week. Before we can examine socialism, we need to understand how the economy works in general terms. At the heart of any economy is resources. Resources are all the different kinds of things that people need and want as they live their lives. These items can be as big as houses or as small as rubber bands. The items can be as essential as food or as optional as sparklers. All the things that people need and want are the resources that fuel any economy. The crucial problem of every economy is that the resources people need and want are limited. There are never enough resources to meet all the demands and desires of all the people who want them. That limitation requires some kind of system where resources are economized. In fact, we call it an economy because of the need to economize scarce resources. There are many different kinds of economies. No economy has unlimited resources, and so every economy must find a way to economize those resources. The differences among various economies has to do with the manner in which they seek to economize limited resources. Every economy has some authority and some means of economizing limited resources. The United States has historically had a capitalist economy. In capitalism, the authority are the many individuals who produce and consume the limited resources. The means of economization in capitalistic economies are prices. Prices are the terms agreed upon in an economic transaction between producers and consumers. If you walk into a bakery and pay $2 for an iced chocolate donut, you, the consumer, have agreed the donut is worth the loss of $2 from your wallet. On the other hand, the owner of the bakery, the producer, has decided $2 is enough to cover all his costs, including employees, ingredients, risk, and other expenses. Whether the business is donuts or dynamite, and whether the costs are $2 or $2 million, all economic transactions work this way, with prices controlling the flow of limited resources. A crucial ingredient in capitalist economies is the existence of competition. Competition serves as price accountability in a capitalistic economy. For example, imagine you get tired of paying $2 for the donut at your neighborhood bakery and figure out you can make the same donut for $1.75. This increases the pressure on the existing bakery to either lower their prices, prove that customers should pay more for their donut, find a way to lower their own prices, or eventually go out of business. The point is that capitalism economizes the flow of limited resources through prices agreed upon by countless individuals who are free to make those decisions. Socialism works very differently. In socialism, the authority is a central state controlling the means of production and the mechanism of distribution. The means of economization in a socialistic economy are price controls issued from that central state. Going back to our neighborhood bakery, the controlling authority in socialism wants more people to have donuts, and so lower prices to whatever they believe will allow their ideal number of people to have them. But socialists misunderstand how prices work. Socialists blame the scarcity of resources on prices. They reason that more people could have the things they want if prices were only lower. That is a terrible misunderstanding. Prices are not the cause of scarce resources, but the result of scarce resources. Remember that all economies are built on the inalterable reality that there will never be enough resources to meet the demands and the desires of every person. Lowering prices arbitrarily can never create more resources. It can only lower the number of people who are willing to provide those resources. This leads to another misunderstanding socialists have. The controlling authority in socialism has no idea how long it takes to make a donut at that neighborhood bakery, how expensive the ingredients are, what the baker must pay in labor costs, or how high his utility bills are. They just know they want more people to have donuts. This means that when the socialist lowers prices, they do it arbitrarily, without respect to the cost. But when the cost of making a donut is higher than the price of selling one, it becomes impossible for the baker to make any donuts. Now, instead of having more donuts for all the people who want them, you have no donuts at all. By ignorantly punishing producers, socialism increases the scarcity of resources, making it harder for more people to access them, not easier. The reality is that we live in a fallen world with scarce resources. There is no way for any of us to change that. Given the fact of scarce resources, it is best to leave consumers and producers free to make the best decisions about the prices involved in their economic transactions together. It is impossible that any central authority could ever possess enough information to make the millions and millions of decisions that citizens in an economy make every day. All socialism can do is use their authority to impose their price ignorance on those who actually bear the consequences of their arbitrary decisions. It is that combination of denial of reality, ignorance, and control that guarantees the failure of socialism. There's a wonderful truth in all this for Christians. It comes in Revelation 21, verse 6, where all who trust in Jesus are given a wonderful invitation as they enter the new heavens and the new earth. It is done. I am the Alpha and the Omega, the beginning and the end. To the thirsty I will give from the spring of the water of life without payment. This glorious promise is meant to encourage sinners living in a sinful world full of limited resources. Christians are invited to enjoy the precious water of life without paying for it. The offer of receiving this gift without price emphasizes the graciousness of it. But that's not all. It is also meant to communicate the limitlessness of the gift. One of the reasons the water comes without price is because it's not limited, and so everyone can have as much of it as they want. One day in heaven, every believer in Jesus will enjoy every precious resource without any scarcity at all. It will be a world of abundance and joy that we can hardly fathom today. That glorious reality comes in heaven, not on earth. In this sinful world, we can never make scarce resources exist without limit. We can only make those scarce resources impossible to provide by pretending there are not real costs attached to their production. When it's all said and done, Socialists want to bring heaven to earth without the work of Jesus Christ. New Yorkers are about to learn just how impossible that is. That is the biggest story of the week. I can't wait to see you next Friday when we'll examine next week's biggest headline.